All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. We're a couple minutes late just to allow time for people to come in, but I think I recognize most faces out there. I'm Jennifer Rakovich, outpatient dietitian here at TriState, and in honor of Mental Health Awareness Month in May, our Lunch and Learn is going to be about how we can improve our mental health through nutrition. So an interesting fact for us that more than 1 in 5 Americans suffer from some form of mental disorder, according to the National Institute of Mental Health. And 18% of the US actually are struggling with anxiety, and that's about 40 million of us. And about 8.3% of us are struggling with depression, 6% ADHD, and 4.4% bipolar disorder, just to kind of give you an idea. So anxiety is something that I have a lot of clients that are struggling with, and food does play a big part in that. So there's a lot of research out there that shows that our food choices, what we fuel our body with, can play a big part in helping us work through those mental health disorders and reduce our risk for them. You've probably heard the term, you are what you eat, and you might have own personal experiences knowing good days and bad days, depending on what your food choices are and how you feel, even based off of your mood. So our energy is affected by what we eat and our overall well-being. So those choices matter. Okay. So we're going to look at pairing a couple different diets here. So we're all probably very familiar with the standard Western diet, which is going to be heavy in processed foods, refined sugars, a lot of our prepackaged items that don't have much nutritional value. Those foods, they worsen oxidative stress in our body. Our cells become unhealthier because they affect our blood sugar levels. Our insulin regulation becomes poor. These foods in the standard Western diet promote inflammation in the body, and we end up with a poor immune system. Compared to the Mediterranean style diet, so this diet obviously is rich in fruits and vegetables, those healthy omega-3 fatty acids, rich in fiber. So we're getting a lot of vitamins and minerals from this diet focus, as well as a lot of antioxidants. So with these foods, they will in turn reduce oxidative stress. It improves our insulin regulations. Our blood sugars are going to be more steady, giving us good energy, decreases inflammation, and then we have a stronger immune system. So just kind of comparing a diet of processed foods with a diet of whole foods, it's going to make a big difference on how our body responds. So there's a lot of research coming out about the gut-brain axis or the gut-brain connection. And it's really interesting. They are considering our gut system or enteric system a second brain because it does so much for our body. And they're connected through the vagus nerve. But there are 100 million nerve cells that are at work helping our body connect. So we're looking at the combination of them together and how they help each other out. So we have the first brain and the second brain, but we're going to look at the enteric nervous system and then how the health of that affects our mental health. So our enteric nervous system with all those million cells is going to help control digestion, release enzymes, and also help with nutrient absorption in the body. So we want to keep that gut healthy. An interesting thing is very sensitive to emotions. If you think about if you're really nervous or anxious, you start to get maybe a stomach ache or can have bowel issues, but then also they're looking at, well, people that have irritable bowel syndrome or irritable bowel disease, they're actually at higher risk for depression and anxiety. So it can go either way, but it's really interesting and how our mental state can affect our gut state at the same time. But having a diet that is high in prebiotics and probiotics, that can help promote a healthier gut. So if we start at that gut health, that can then in turn help our mental health. So we're going to look at some foods that can help with that gut health. So probiotics is something we hear a lot about. There's a lot of research going into probiotic foods and how they help our enteric system And there's actually more research in regards to the food versus taking probiotic supplements. And so I always tell people food first, and then you can look at the supplement options as well, but don't give up on the food. So our probiotics contain live microorganisms that help to maintain or improve the good bacteria in our gut. So some common ones would be yogurt, kefir, kimchi, sauerkraut, pickles, kombucha, and sourdough. Sourdough bread is, I feel like, really popular right now. A lot of people are making it, so that can be a good option. Yogurt can be a great option for a breakfast or a snack. And there's some items that you might not eat regularly, but the last time I did this talk, I met somebody that put sauerkraut on her salad every day. So I thought that was an interesting way with the purpose of trying to get a probiotic in after lunchtime.
Can you tell me what is
good idea?
kefir?
Kefir is like a liquid yogurt.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's rich in the live cultures.
Okay.
But with both the yogurt and the kefir, there is the plain option, and then there is the fruit flavored options. The fruited ones usually have quite a bit more sugar in them. The plain ones are going to have generally more protein than them as well. Our pink berry smoothie over here is made with kefir versus the green smoothie is made with plain yogurt. So it is nice for smoothies because it's already a liquid consistency. So it works well for those. And you can buy some different brands of kefir that are in little tiny, like shot size servings. And so I've had clients just take like a shot of it once a day before a meal, and it's helped with their gut system. So then we have our prebiotics. So prebiotics are like the food for the probiotics. So when you look at your diet as a whole, you want to be incorporating these throughout the day as well with those probiotic foods. So some good prebiotic options are bananas, apples, whole grains, onions, garlic, leafy greens, asparagus, and legumes. So many smoothies that you're using yogurt for, you're adding bananas in them as well. Both of our examples have bananas, so it's kind of nice you got that prebiotic to go along with the probiotic there. So you're feeding those live cultures. And there's the prebiotic list does go on, so this is just a few main items here. So knowing that starting with a healthy gut in turn does help our mind. And the reason, a big reason why is 95% of the serotonin receptors are in our gut. And so we think of serotonin and dopamine giving us that, the feel-good thoughts, the feel-good feelings, happy moods. But if our gut's not healthy, again, our mind is not going to be healthy because we're not getting all those serotonin receptors. So serotonin helps to regulate our mood, helps to regulate sleep patterns, influences appetite and digestion. It's involved in the process of blood clotting, promoting wound healing. It affects sexual function, bone health, and temperature regulation. So actually a lot more things than what I had realized. The low levels of serotonin are associated with depression and anxiety, digestion issues, sleep problems, and chronic pain. So a lot of the things that we already looked at can be associated with having low levels of serotonin. So those foods that are going to help us feel good, or we can call them good mood foods, lovely dark chocolate. So the first one there, we think of dark chocolate making us feel good. But you'll want to focus on looking for like a 90% or 80%. Did I say 90? 70% or 80% dark chocolate there. Nuts and seeds. Fatty fish with their omega-3s, or leafy greens, berries, and bananas. So with these foods, we have the combination of strong antioxidants, anti-inflammatory compounds. We have fiber, which stabilizes our energy. We're getting B vitamins, we're getting zinc and magnesium from these foods. All together have different properties that are going to help our mental health. So also eggs and oats. So oats have fiber and iron, which can also help with energy. Our fermented foods for our probiotics. Coffee helps to boost dopamine in our brain. And we have green tea that has amino acids in it as well. So, but we can look at these foods and really see how these are very common foods for health in other areas of our body. We're also thinking about decreasing inflammation in regards to obesity and heart disease and diabetes and cancer. So I just food-wise think it's pretty fascinating how they can affect our body in so many different areas, but we often don't think about the impact on our mental health that these foods can have too. So if there's some foods listed here that you haven't been eating regularly, maybe think of some ways that you can incorporate them into your diet. I love to finish the end of my day with green tea after dinner, and I put a little drop of peppermint oil in it, and it just kind of calms me down, and that's my, okay, I'm done eating for the day thought process.
Are there certain nuts that are better than others? Or
So I would just say variety. So seed-wise, I think of chia seed, flaxseed, and hemp seed. Those are good options. The nuts, variety of walnuts, almonds, they all have different levels of fats. Some are monounsaturated fats, some are polyo, some have omega-3. So I think when it comes to those things, not necessarily always favoring, but getting a variety can be helpful. Yeah, I like to blend chia seed, flaxseed, and hemp seed together and use it in like a shaker form to shake on yogurt or put in smoothies or sprinkle on salads. Get them in that way, or you can bake them or too. Put it in oatmeal. Yeah, if you think of like even like having oatmeal, adding berries, maybe a dollop of yogurt and sprinkling some seeds on top, you're getting, you know, a lot of these foods just in that one meal. So it always starts with meal planning. We often have lists of foods that we know are beneficial and good for us. You have to plan for your success and knowing how are you going to get those foods in. So one really big thing is making sure that we're eating regularly throughout the day. Skipping meals often can lead to overeating or binge eating later in the day. And I find many clients that I have that are struggling with anxiety and depression, they tend to be less motivated to want to plan meals and go grocery shopping. And so it's kind of this negative cycle. And if you can really get through that and start changing your diet, you'll find your energy is so much better and you're able to focus better. So really planning on how you're going to be successful there. And don't skip meals that really can affect your energy. If your energy is not good, your mood's not going to be good too. So focus on a variety of complex carbs. So like whole grains and legumes and fruits. So that's, again, you're getting fiber there, which is going to help prevent big blood sugar changes from your food choices. Vegetables, they help to stabilize your energy. And those fruits and vegetables, again, are packed with anti-inflammatory compounds and antioxidants. See if you can make a goal to choose a probiotic food daily. And then make sure you drink plenty of water and stay hydrated and kind of pay attention to how much caffeine and alcohol you're consuming and make sure water is on the top of the list for your beverage choices. But one really easy way to combine these prebiotics and probiotics and get some of those nutrient-rich foods in is smoothies. And so we came up with a couple smoothie options here that we are sampling. So the berry kefir smoothie. This could be a good option for even a breakfast replacement because you have your mixed berries and you have a banana in there for some good carbohydrate energy and some good fiber. We're adding kefir into this one. So you're getting your probiotic, and almond butter is offering some more protein and some healthy fats. So that's going to help keep the energy stable, and some vanilla extract for flavoring. Then we have the green smoothie that we're using plain yogurt with. Some fresh spinach, and I find it works a little bit better if I buy the fresh spinach and then freeze it. And then that way the leaves blend a lot better when they're shaped in that form, but frozen. A frozen banana, a quarter of an avocado, and some honey. So a few different ways that you can incorporate some probiotics and prebiotics and get some really nutrient-rich foods in there.
is that considered a serving?
Yes. So for any more information, a lot of the information from this presentation was found on the National Institute of Mental Health website, as well as Harvard Health. So if you're interested in learning more about nutrition and mental health, these are some good websites to go to. Any questions at all? You guys like the smoothies?
Mm-hmm.
You got a chance to try it? Yeah. And of course, if you have allergies, you can change them out. I'm allergic to nuts, so I use peanut butter for everything or sesame or sunflower butter. That's what I meant to say, sunflower butter. So you can definitely use different types of frozen fruit and just play around with it to get a flavor profile that you like yourself. You can always, I like to add like chia seed and flaxseed into mine as well, just to help to fill you up longer.
Thank you.
It's okay to have a piece of dark chocolate every day after lunch.
If you were here in person, make sure you hit the sign-in sheet on the way out. If you didn't on the way in, and grab a smoothie sample if you'd like. Thank you guys for coming. They are in the presentation, and that's going to be put out on SharePoint, so you would be able to access it there if you'd like.
I think other marketing could easily post them on like the employee corner, such as this. But they made recipe cards that they mail out.
Yeah.
So the recipes would be on.
I had a question if there was still opportunity for that.
Josh has a question.
Okay, yeah.
Is there any supplements, like over-the-counter supplements, that you recommend patients to be consulting their doctor as far as mood, mental health, just more natural supplements as well? That might augment and supplement these dietary recommendations as well?
So as far as like oral nutrition supplements, that's what first came to my mind. And in that case, like as a meal replacement, I like to recommend Orgain because they make their products with fruits and vegetables.
Okay.
But as far as like pill supplement forms, I don't have much information on those since they're not monitored by the FDA. We typically can't recommend those, but if anybody comes to me with them, I'll kind of try to do my own research, but there's nothing that I recommend, but definitely have them go back and talk to their doctor about it.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. I was always curious about that. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and end the meeting now. Thank you guys for joining.